Give me a good one.
Give me a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Jackson they can do what's the 5-10. Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast Baseball Talk. Illinois style, folks. Powered by Game 7 Baseball. Game7baseball.com. Preview show was out. We got the schedule up and rolling. Game 7 Baseball. The schedule's there. Go to Game7baseball.com, register your team. Got some great discounts. And we got a new one for club members we're going to be rolling out. Plus, we're going to be at 7 tournaments. Our Super 7 series with Youth Baseball Midwest, where we come out to our Saturday at the park. We live stream the 14U championships on Sundays. We have a lot of fun. We talk to a lot of people. We give away a lot of baseball cards, and we're going to do some more fun stuff this year. So we're adding to it. We're going to be down at Ballparks of America this year. We're going to be in Springfield this year, along with the WAC. And I think we got one maybe at Bridgeton. I can't remember, but I think, or maybe Ozzy's, because Ozzy's got Ozzie Smith Sports Complex has the new turf coming. There you go. So a lot of great stuff. Game7baseball.com. Get registered today. Look, folks, follow us right here. If you like what we're doing, subscribe, like, share it out. Follow us on X at YBM_cast. That is the uppercase, then the lowercase. IG and Facebook at Youth Baseball Midwest. We appreciate the follow. Look forward to seeing everybody out at the ballpark as well. On today's show, Prime Sports Call Link, I have Diego Solares from Sports Connect. Scout Connect, I knew that. I messed it up already. I can't read very well, man. So, Scout Connect, there it is. Joining us today, look, folks, Prime Sports doing it right. Bat demo coming up, Fenton, Missouri. Be there, aloha. We're going to be there at the bat demo November 15th. I believe it starts at 9 a.m. as usual. All the new bats coming up. Diego, you like the bat demos? See what's going on there?
I've never been to one, admittedly, considering that I couldn't hit after I turned 13 years old. So I've never been to a bat demo, but being around a bunch of high schoolers all the time, they all have different bats, and they're all swinging the new combat or whatever it is. So I'm sure those are fun. I'm sure hitting homers with new bats at a bat demo is fun. So
oh yeah, I might even get in the cage myself and check out a bat or two, huh? You never know, man.
Sure.
What? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there it is. There's the information up there for it. Saturday the 15th, 9 a.m. Look at that. What do we got? War Stick, Tucci, Marucci, Louisville Slugger, DeMarini. Was that Soldier Bats? I think it's Soldier, yeah. Rawlings, of course. Looks like everybody and their cousin will be there. So we're looking forward to it. Check it out. Prime Sports, Fenton, Missouri, 1550 Ocello Drive, November 15th. All right. Let's talk about Diego. We're working hard. Illinois baseball, we started talking a little bit about this. We're going to start getting into some of these conferences, and one in particular, it's in the Metro St. Louis area for the most part. The Southwestern Conference has probably 4 of the top teams around here. I mean, these are going to be good teams, and they're going to be good again this year. We're talking Edwardsville Tigers at the top of that. Coach Funkhauser, he's got, I think it said 806 wins at Edwardsville alone. He's got like 861 total, but at one school there. O'Fallon, the Panthers, Belleville East, Belleville West. These 4 teams were duking it out pretty good last year. Looks like they're going to be doing it again this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's the strongest. It's the strongest conference in the area from a depth standpoint. I think 2026, and we'll talk about some other schools on a later show. But I think some other conferences that surround the Southwestern Conference have a chance to host some of the better teams in the area this year. Just kind of the way the 2026 classes and the 27s and 28s have panned out for Triad and Waterloo specifically, in my opinion. But the Southwestern Conference, for the most part, year over year, I mean, it's the biggest conference. It's where you have the 4A schools, right? They're all 4A. They all play in the same regional, so it's not just the conferences too. It's also like it matters for regional seating, which I don't know if that's the case for every conference in the state of Illinois. So yeah, it should be great. I mean, it's Edwardsville and it's O'Fallon traditionally towards the top of the conference. Edwardsville won it last year. They had their historic 2025 class that was a big part of 2 state championships is now gone. And I think you're going to see a lot of familiar, like new faces, some guys that have played some roles, some of them very key roles, but others more of like defensive replacements, pinch runners, guys that were young dudes getting a taste of varsity action the past couple of years that are going to have to play every day now for a team that, has been not just in Southern Illinois, but in the entire state and honestly the Midwest, like the cream of the crop that the Edwardsville Tigers are.
Let's start with a team, though, that I think, we talked a little bit about last year. They were kind of came out of nowhere. You thought they're going to give people trouble. But Alton, they were pretty senior heavy last year. A lot of those guys left. 2026, what does it look like for them?
Yeah, they're gonna have to fill some. They're gonna have to fill some holes here. Like Reed Murray's gone. He's kind of been their guy the last couple of years. They lost their starting catcher. Their first baseman's gone. So they're gonna have to fill some holes. Now they do have some talented players here. Like for me, it starts and ends with Anderson Kaufman, the 2028. He was a star for them as a freshman last year. It's kind of a unique situation because he's a catcher and also a pitcher. He's got the ability, like he played some third base last year. He played some left field last year, but how they manage the fact that he's probably their best option behind the plate, to my knowledge, and is also a frontline arm for them is going to be very intriguing, especially for a young guy. I mean, right there with him on the mound is Logan Hickman, who's a 2026, played a big part on their pitching staff last year, headed the John A. Logan Junior College, which is one of the premier junior college programs in the Midwest. I mean, for my money, like he's got one of the higher ceilings in the area. Long, athletic levers, fairly new still-ish to the mound. He'll hit for them too. I would expect him to be a middle-of-the-order guy, but I mean, it's mid to upper 80s with the fastball right now. Good off season, he's going to climb. I would not be surprised at all if he's comfortably pitching in the low 90s next year with a really, really good breaking ball. He's going to have to refine some things as my cat makes his traditional guest appearance. I'm just going to go ahead and kick him out real fast.
That's Manny joined the club there.
Yep. He's always a part of the show. But yeah, like if Hickman can consistently be in the strike zone, can consistently get more comfortable with runners on base and working out of the stretch, like I think he's got a chance to be a true frontline guy. He's got the stuff to shut down probably anybody in the area. Jack Quent will be a guy that will play for them. He played some center field last year, a big physical left-handed hitter. Also runs it into the mid-80s on the mound. Alex Pilger, a guy who played the outfield for them. Had some clutch moments last year. Donovan Ducey is a 2027 to know. Soren Munson is a 2027 that I like. Stronger, compact righty. Last time I saw him, he was low 80s, but could really spin a breaking ball. So there's some question marks for sure. Like it's not. I think one of the reasons last year we identified Alton as sleepers because they had a ton of guys coming back with a brand new talented freshman that didn't have to catch all the time because they had a senior back there. Logan Hickman's emergence in the winter of last year is kind of a big pop-up name, boosted their stock, and they were scrappy all year. The record wasn't eye-popping, They had a good season. It
Yeah.
wasn't an eye-popping record, but they gave people fits, and they're going to have to find a way to replicate some of that this upcoming season with those guys that are gone.
The pitching, a lot of these guys are showing pitching. Will they be able to, do it consistently? Can they find the offense? I mean, as you said, the question marks are there, but the talent is there as well.
Yeah, I mean, like the 1-2 punch. So like the way the conference lines up, right, with where you play a home and away Tuesday, Thursday. Like Kaufman Hickman is a really good one too. Now, I think what makes it interesting is the dynamic of Kaufman being a catcher. Like,
Yeah.
does he? Because he's probably not going to throw the first game. You probably want him to catch the first game, because if he throws the first game, you definitely don't want him to catch the second game. And how do you manage that? Now, maybe they have a guy that's capable of being an awesome, starting catcher for them that kind of lessens that load, right? But he's really talented behind the plate too. So we'll see. But yeah, Kaufman, Hickman, great 1-2 punch. Going to give guys fits. And honestly, how the rest of their roster shapes up is going to be what defines their season.
Belleville East, Belleville West, contended. Belleville East 9-3 in conference. Belleville West was 7-5 in conference play. Which of these two teams? I'm going to let you pick the one that you think is going to have the most upside coming up in the 26th season.
Yeah, it's tough for me because they both last year were old. Belleville East in particular was old. They had a ton of 2025 grads that played a big role for them. Tommy Kramkowski is a guy that was doing it there for a while. He was their best arm. He's at Missouri State now. So they had several guys playing every single day. There were 2025 grads that are gone. Now they do bring back some key pieces like Reed Newmayer. Nasir Fairs played a lot for them. Adam Smith played a lot for them. Brody Lindemann is a 2027 catcher that hit in the middle of their order. And then they have probably, if I had to, like, if you said I had to pick one freshman in the entire area, who's the best player in the area, it probably is Connor Gray, who goes to Belleville East, 2029 grad. He's the younger brother of Drew Gray, who was a Chicago Cubs second or third rounder a couple years ago, and Evan Gray, who just got drafted by the Giants last year. Very good. Like, I would be shocked if he's not playing right away for them and hitting honestly towards the top of their lineup. I think that kid's got a chance to be a dynamic athlete on both sides of the ball. So that's kind of Belleville East, and then Belleville West. Like, honestly, these teams are very similar. Like, they both graduated some important arms. Belleville West lost John Hilpert, who is at Jefferson Junior College, who was kind of their main arm last year. But they do have probably the best catcher in the area in Braden Forney, who's headed to Lindenwood. Elite catch and throw. I don't like to use the word elite a lot for high schoolers, but it's truly like elite catch and throw for him. They have Bryce Schultenbrand, who's a middle infielder that can also play the outfield, headed to Kaskaskia. They do bring back Chase Benty, who had a 1.42 ERA in 44 innings last year, as a soft-tossing, like, deceptive, pitch backwards lefty that will be their number one guy. AJ Foltz, who was a sophomore last year, hit in the middle of their lineup. Parker Wells, who's an outfielder that I really like, that can really swing it. And they also have a talented underclassman in Wyatt Robinson, who's a 2028, so he's a sophomore. Big physical left-handed hitter, like tons of juice. I saw him as his club program played in a few of our tournaments this summer this fall, and he was all over the barrel a lot, and the ball really carries. Still room to get stronger. Like, so if we're talking upside, like, I'll probably take Belleville West. I just think that, like, they have some continuity. They have, a top arm returning. They have a really good catcher. I would think Bryce Schultenbrand's going to have a big year. He's gotten a lot better in the last year. Parker Wells kind of playing every single day is going to be a big deal for them. Wyatt Robinson, if he can take that step forward and be a guy as a sophomore, like, they're going to be like they always are. Belleville West is always like the scrappy, roll your sleeves up, blue collar, competitive, tough out. They beat Edwardsville last year at Edwardsville. in an extra inning game that we had to wait for like 45 minutes through a rain delay, and they showed up right away afterwards and scored a run to win the game. Like that's who they are. That's their MO. So between those two clubs, I would say they're very similar. But if you're asking me like who's got the higher ceiling, I'll take Belleville West.
You were talking about the Fultz kid. He was a freshman last year, right? He's a sophomore this year. Is that correct?
No, he's a 2027 grad.
He's a 27,
So
so he's a
sophomore
junior.
last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
He 42 at bat, 42 plate appearances. He hit 359 and slugged at 538 for this squad. That's pretty good in that conference play.
Yeah, he swings it.
You know,
he swings it. He's physical, strong right-handed hitter, can pitch a little bit too. He can hit. He'll probably hit third or fourth for them this year, I would think.
Because you know this, you're playing in that type of conference. You're seeing, you're seeing high level arms consistently. So if you can hit 359 as a sophomore against that kind of pitching, you're getting it done, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing high level arms that have velo and stuff and pitchability. So for sure, like if you have success in the Southwestern Conference, every team has, like last year, every single team had a guy. Whether it was Tuesday or Thursday, you were seeing a good arm. So if you're having success in that conference, you're doing something right.
Yeah. Because, Edwardsville, they graduated Sciarotto. He went to Alabama. And then I know O'Fallon, they graduated, was it Connor Blue, right?
Connor Blue, yep.
So those two guys, you're fortunate you don't have to face those two guys anymore.
Yeah, that's a good place to be if you're a position player in the Southwestern Conference.
Oh, mercy. So, and you brought up Brandon, what is it, Forney is how you pronounced it?
Braden Forney, yep.
Forney, okay. He hit 337 last year, slugged 523, 105 plate appearances. I like the 5 doubles, 4 triples, a home run, 18 ribbies, and he scored 22 runs, 12 runs. Production there, you're seeing that, and I kind of understand why when I'm looking at those things, I wanted your thought process, but you see the opportunity for this team to have success this year.
Yeah. I mean, if they can find a way to have multiple guys on the mound that can consistently produce and get outs, they will be one of the top teams in the conference. And like being a top team in the conference also means you're one of the top teams in the regional when that time comes around. Like last year, they had their struggles on the mound. So if they can get some guys to step up and really like get outs consistently, that's kind of all they need. They'll be okay. Like they have the catcher. They should have the offense. Forney had a good year at the plate last year. Like he had a really good summer offensively, kind of like a scorched earth level summer at the plate. And the catch and throw is about as good as it gets. It really is. So they're good where they need to be. It's just what's it going to look like on the mound.
I think it's interesting, sometimes, you look at some of these teams and each year they're battling, are we going to have enough pitching or are we going to have enough offense? Is our defense going to be there's very few teams like in Edwardsville, even O'Fallon, seem year to year to bring both things back every single year. That's just not something, it's hard to do in high school baseball.
Yeah, especially at a public school, right? Like you're kind of like, you don't get to pick. You're dealt the hand that you're dealt. So yeah, like the fact that like it's no surprise that the two teams that are able to do it every single year in all facets of the game are traditionally the two best teams in the conference, and traditionally the two teams that get the furthest when the playoffs roll around.
Right. It's not easy. It isn't easy. So I like that. I think the Alton team, showing the pitching, it'll be fun to see what we do that. Now there's the two teams that were first I want to go to East St. Louis, the Flyers. They were 1-15 last year. Is the program moving upwards I don't know that much about him. Followed him yesterday. When I was doing some research, I went and followed a lot of these teams. So I'm trying to get to know a little bit more about their program, what they do, the coaches, and hope to talk to some of these coaches in the future.
Yeah, to my knowledge, like it's a relatively on the up program. It's a little hard to find stuff on them on STL today and whatnot from a stats standpoint. Like I'm not totally familiar with their players, but I think they're building something there, right? Like they're working their way towards building a program, and the fact that they compete in a conference this tough is going to be tough for them. So,
Yeah.
I would love to chat with their coach and kind of see what they're doing there and how the program is coming along. I believe they had a senior last year commit to go play baseball collegiately to McKendree, if I'm not mistaken, and kind of see what they've got and what they're building towards in the next couple of years.
Because I was looking now, I don't know, and I should have checked, but I was going through some social media. I saw an interview. They won a playoff game, is what
Yeah, against Cahokia, right?
yes. So
Yep.
the record doesn't look like it, but they won a playoff game. It was the first one they'd won in some 30 years or something like that. So that does show you that they are competing.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably a byproduct of playing the Edwardsvilles, the O'Fallons, the Triads. Because I don't believe East St. Louis is 4A. I believe they're 3A.
Okay.
So like consistently 4A schools, and you're playing really good 4A schools. That when you get to the playoffs against 3A, like the bar is lower, but you're ready for a higher bar, if that makes sense.
It does.
So yeah, tip of the cap to them for winning a playoff game last year. It's not an easy thing to do.
No, absolutely. So the other school in this conference is Collinsville. Collinsville was
Yep.
14-20 overall. They were 4-8 in conference. Where do they stand? And is that a team that might have an opportunity to do some things in the conference this year?
Yeah, it's a new coach. Matt Pomeranz taking over as the new coach over there in Collinsville. Listen, this is a program that's produced some pretty big players. Like Ethan Bagwell got drafted by the Braves in 2024 out of Collinsville, almost signed for $1 million. Tanner Houck, who was an all-star with the Boston Red Sox a couple years ago, went to Collinsville, was a first-round pick out of Mizzou. So they have some history. They graduated a good chunk of their top guys from last year, positionally, including their best arm, Carter Harrington, who's at Kaskaskia now. But I mean, they do return some pretty interesting players like Carson Perrell. Hit 376 for them last year with an OPS over 1,000. Like he's back. He's an uncommitted senior that can really swing it. Like always hits. Braden Henson is back for them. He hit 313 last year. Benjamin Tillman, who has been their catcher since he was a freshman, he's a 2027, so he'll be a junior this year. Did not have the best year offensively last season, but I would expect him to take a step up. He can catch, he can play the middle infield. He's a high energy, like scrappy, competitive dude. Like I think the word like that guy's a ball player or that guy's a grinder gets thrown around a lot in the baseball world. But I would say Benjamin Tillman encapsulates that perfectly. Like he is a scrappy, competitive guy, plays with high energy, fiery dude. I would expect him to have a big year. Roman Pomeranz, who's the head coach's son, he's a good player, can play the left side of the infield, will also pitch for them. If we're staying on the mound, like Logan Odell and Will Swip are two guys I would keep an eye on. Logan Odell is a big physical football player. I think he plays the defensive line or a linebacker. Like he's a big dude, power stuff, mid to upper 80s fastball with a banger breaking ball. How much he's in the zone is going to be a dictator of his success because he's got the stuff to get out. And Will Swip pitched in some big games for them last year, man. He had a 2.92 ERA in 26 innings. Low 80s fastball, spins a good breaking ball, strike thrower, competes. Like not a blow you away guy, but a challenge you and get guys out guy. Stay off barrels. So if those two guys can can take a step up on the mound, like they'll have two arms that can compete. And then very similarly to Belleville East, they have a guy who would be on my short list of the best freshmen in the area in Carter Henson. He's a left-handed pitcher. I've seen him multiple times. Saw him in the spring at our 14U invite. Saw him at an event this summer. I just saw him pitch a couple weeks ago in one of our fall tournaments. Like, I don't know how much of an impact he'll have as a freshman, just because it's tough to pitch as a freshman in the Southwestern Conference. Like, I would think he will be a guy that is pitching every midweek non-conference game for them. But it's got a chance to be really good. Like, it's a loose, athletic, clean left-hander, good mover. The ball comes out real nice. Like, it's got some late run to it. He spins a good breaking ball, really good changeup. It's been up into the low 80s right now, but I mean, he's 14, 15 years old. Like, that's going to climb. That's a guy that's going to be a frontline guy, I think, in the next couple of years, and left-handed with 3 pitches and strikes. He swings it too. Like, I don't think the bat is at the varsity level right now, but there's a chance for him to be like, early in the season, he's taking his lumps in midweeks. And by the time the conference schedule reaches its end, like, that's a guy that's the first guy out of the pen, or maybe even starting for them if they need to, because he's talented enough to do so. So Collinsville, like, they'll be scrappy. It's a new coach, so like, we don't know what their identity is going to be, or how they're going to play, or what their culture is going to be, their style of play is going to be. But they're always competitive, so we'll see.
It's going to be interesting. At Collinsville, so all the other ones, except you think maybe East St. Louis, they're all Class 4A, correct?
Collinsville is too. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's an interesting dynamic. I like this part. The Southwestern Conference is very intriguing. I'm hoping, and we're going to reach out to the coaches at the Belleville schools, because to me, I like because those are usually rivalry stuff, right?
Yeah, that is a rivalry. I went to go watch one of their games this past year. There was one game where it got a little chippy. They don't particularly like each other a whole lot. So that would be a good one. It's a rivalry. Like, I mean, it's cross town. Like, Belleville East, Belleville West are like 7 minutes away from each other. So definitely one you guys should try to get on your calendar. And two good venues, by the way. Like, Belleville East is a brand new baseball field. They have stadium seating, turf, like brand new turf. It's a cool little setup when you walk in. You walk through like this big brick arch type of deal. Good concessions. Belleville West, same thing. Like, their field. Now, Belleville West is more like out in the countryside, I would say, of Millstadt, Belleville area. But it's turf. Like, they've got the bleachers. They got a nice little press box. You have to walk up to the field from the parking lot. And it's a nice little walk. Like, the two good venues to take in a baseball game.
I love that. I love it. Yeah. And that's one of the things we're looking at. I know we've done 2 live streams over there in Illinois. We were at Edwardsville, but it was against Francis Howell. The only one we've done all Illinois is we were at Blazer Field for Edwardsville and O'Fallon. And that was when both Shiroto and we had Shiroto and Blue on the mound as juniors. And that was a fun one. That was fun. So we're hoping to, and that's the thing. And I know, I love to hear that, because that was something when I saw that, it's like, that looks, it can't help but be rivalry, Belleville West, Belleville East, right? So I'm hoping we can get that on the schedule this year. We want to get over there. I'm working on some scheduling for Illinois. And there's some good baseball over there that we want to be able to start working towards and looking at, not just in the metro, maybe a little touch further. You never know. We'll see what gives. We'll see what goes. I want to go up, because from what I understand now, we just did, oh shoot, and I forgot to put the hat down. Dang it. Lauren, toss me the hat over there. I got to do it. You got to duck under the camera though, I'm just going to say it. At the top there. Yep, that one. Just toss it over here. Yep. Right there it is, folks. I'm going to put it on the bear. So we do
The
that.
Trojans.
They gave me the cap because we were up at Maroa Forsyth. Shout out to Gunnar Larner, our Super 7 Scholarship Award winner. But when we were up there, we're talking to the coach, and they're a good program. See, this is where I don't
always have been. Yep, they went to I don't know if it was back to back. I think it was back to back. They went to back 2A state playoffs. They played in what might be the longest day of my life. There was a game where there was the 2A state championship game a couple years ago. There was like a 7-hour rain delay, and they started the game at like 11:30 p.m. They lost, but yeah, to St. Anthony actually, who's another really good program in Effingham. If you're talking about going up and live streaming games, the St. Anthony and then Effingham, the public school, every year they play a 3-game set called the City Series at this public park in Effingham, and it is unbelievable. Like, it is maybe the best atmosphere I've ever been to from a baseball standpoint. Like, the entire town is there. It's under the lights. It's at night. They play it at this nice little public park that's right off the highway in Effingham. So that's one I would keep in mind. But yeah, Moreau Forsyth, like, a lot of good players come out of there. Ethan Willoughby, who's a senior at SIUE, graduated in 2022, I believe. They had a left-hander named Ethan Foster that I think joined the Air Force, and he was all-state his senior year of high school. Caden Maurer was a big part of Lakeland College's run to the Division I World Series in junior college last year. He went to Moreau Forsyth. And Gunnar Larner, the guy who won your guys' scholarship in 2028, big physical right-handed hitter. So they're always good. They're always competitive.
I love it. Yeah. And I talked to coach. We want to try and get some of that flavor. I mean, it's a bit of a drive, but that's okay. We've driven further for baseball games. And it's not a bad drive. It's pretty much freeway. And oh my gosh, not a lot of industry up there, man. Blew me away.
Yeah. I think Moreau Forsyth and Monticello is a big rivalry. I don't know if that would work out for you guys from a scheduling standpoint, but to my knowledge, like, I believe Maroa a couple years ago knocked Monticello, and they had a really good team. Luke Teschke and Ike Young on that team at Illinois State and Illinois, respectively. Maroa knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years ago, and then Monticello knocked Maroa out last year. So I don't know if they play during the regular season, but that would be a good one.
We're working on scheduling, folks, and that's why we got Diego here dropping knowledge on us from the state of Illinois. And this is what we're working towards doing. This is a first real look at these things. We're trying to get as much information and keeping you up to date. And we're looking forward to expanding and growing our coverage of high school baseball into the state of Illinois. As the Midwest, I think is just burgeoning. I know the perennial, Texas, Georgia, Florida, California, whatever South, state you have. But I think the Midwest, Diego, is taking off. There's so many good players. I think the emergence of the training facilities with the clubs to be inside, to be able to get and train in those capacities has really changed the dynamics overall.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in 2024, Illinois had the most high school players drafted of any state in the country, like including Texas, Georgia, California, Florida, all of that. So I would agree. Like, the Illinois, Missouri, Indiana has turned itself into a baseball hotbed. Like Will Klein for the Dodgers a couple nights ago is from Indiana, went to Eastern Illinois. And that's just one recent example, but they have got Wisconsin has had guys left and right, JD Dix, Gavin Claw, Gavin Keelan, Gavin Lux, all first round type guys in the draft. So I would agree. I think there's a lot of factors to it, but it's good to see Midwest baseball is on the up.
You used and I'm familiar with that name only because JD Dix is down with the Arizona Diamondbacks playing with Titus Sisser.
Yeah. JD, I got to watch JD a bunch when he was in high school. Really good. He had a little bit of a shoulder injury his senior or junior year going into his senior year. But if he was fully healthy, he would have been a top 15, 20 pick. So,
man, there you go. Always a pleasure, bud. I appreciate the knowledge. We're going to keep this rolling. Next week, we're going to be back. We're going to be talking about some other conferences. We're going to be bringing players, talking about Illinois baseball as we head towards January, our winter workout tour. We're going to be rolling on to the Illinois side. We're going to be checking out some clubs. We're going to be rolling to some different places. I'm looking forward to it as we build a little more into Illinois high school baseball. I'm hoping to get at least our goal is to get 5 games on the schedule in Illinois in the upcoming year. Cause we've only done 1. So fitting them into the schedule, cause we're heading down to the Southwest in Missouri, the Northwest in Missouri. So we're looking forward to getting over on that Effingham, St. Anthony piece. That's interesting to me. Oh, yeah.
Can we give some love to Edwardsville and O'Fallon before we leave?
Did we not do that?
Some of these players? No,
we didn't.
We skipped
I'm
over
sorry. I skipped right over them, didn't I? Sorry, Coach. I'm glad you said that because my brain, I'm just rolling right on through because like we talked about them. Nope, because we started with Alton, didn't we? Let's go backwards. Yep. Okay, folks. Let's start with O'Fallon. Because last year, didn't O'Fallon knock Edwardsville out of the playoffs?
They did. First time in a long time. Edwardsville won the conference, but they met in the sectional semis, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And O'Fallon knocked them out at Alton in a really good baseball game. Yeah. And O'Fallon, go ahead.
And O'Fallon, to me, when I saw this, they've got a lot of pitching coming back and a lot of young pitching.
Yeah, I would think this is the first time since I've been down here. So I moved down here to Edwardsville in May of 2022. So this will be third full season covering the high school baseball down here in this area. I think this is the first time that I can look at the two teams and say O'Fallon's better, just on paper. Obviously, you have to play the games, right? And history would tell you that Edwardsville has beaten O'Fallon a lot the last couple of years, but Joe Bauer, the old head coach at O'Fallon, when I first met him for a long time, has been telling me about their 2026 class being like the staple. Like this is the group that's going to take us back to state if we go that way. And their 2026 class played a big role last year. Obviously, they had Connor Blue, right?
Yeah,
he's gone. But the names I'm looking at on this 2026 list are pretty impressive. Like Carson Bauer. Is probably on the short list of players that have improved the most of any player I've seen in the last year. He's a left-handed hitter committed to Drury, played second base for them last year. I would think he'll be their starting shortstop this year. You want to talk about like tough outs? I don't know that I've seen him strike out more than me personally, and having watched them in the spring and summer, like more than 3 or 4 times. I'm sure he has punched out more than that, but like he doesn't swing and miss in the strike zone. He doesn't expand. It's a tough at bat all the time. It's a good glove. Son of a coach, really good baseball player. So I would expect him to play a huge role in what they're trying to do. Cole Becker, who's going to Central Alabama Community College, he played every day for them last year. He's back. Braden Robertson, another guy that's gotten so much better, committed to Illinois Springfield. He can play center field. He can play second base. He'll hit leadoff for them. He's got juice. He pitches a little bit too. Like that's going to be a big piece. Anthony Perez, left-handed hitter, left-handed thrower, can play center field. I would think he'll be one of their top arms. Asher Cantu, left-handed hitting catcher with big juice, still uncommitted. And then if you look on the mound, like Sam McCollum was like their fireman reliever type that would come in and throw a bunch for them. He also plays left field. Football player, committed to Drury. Dylan Jantz is a guy they did not have last year. He had Tommy John surgery. He's back, headed to Kaskaskia. I mean, it's got a chance to be really good. Mid to upper 80s, like pounds the strike zone, good breaking ball, big physical 6'6" kid. Like that's a really good addition for them. I don't know what they'll get from Tyson Filia. He had Tommy John surgery too, headed to Drury. I think he will be back at some point this season. Even if he can hit, like he's got a physical right-handed bat. I don't know what that recovery process looks like, but if they can get him back on the mound, like that's a power arm. Mid to upper 80s, good breaking ball, goes after dudes. And then, like for me, the ultimate wild card for their 2026 class is Owen Stoffel, who's a left-handed pitcher that kind of came out of nowhere this fall. He's been up to 91 from the left side, mid to upper 80s, like a kind of a unicorn fastball, throws from here, good slider, high academic, like 35 ACT, still uncommitted. If he's in the strike zone, like you've got all these dudes, all these guys coming back from last year's group. You throw in this mid to upper 80s, like potentially scraping low 90s left-hander from here to come out of the bullpen and throw to get 3 to 6 outs. Like if he's in the strike zone, that's a dynamic arm added to this mix of already talented guys. And then like if we're just staying on the pitching staff, like going down to their 2028s, a guy that was really important for them last year, Will Vanderheiden, comes out of nowhere as a freshman and is pitching in every big game possible for them. Like low 80s, pitchability, good breaking ball, good changeup, not afraid, competes. Like guy that he got a ton of big outs for them down the stretch. So if he stays on that trajectory and keeps improving as he gets older, like you're just adding so much more depth on the mound. Like Landon Dipple is a junior for them that threw in some midweek games that's low 80s with a good breaking ball that he can throw for strikes. Like they're going to pitch. They are going to pitch. They're going to play defense. How much they hit consistently is going to probably be the driving factor to this group. Like not only was Connor Blue a really good arm for them, he's also their 3-hole hitter and like a legit like player of the year type of bat. So they're going to have to replicate some of that. Another 28 is Trey Hrasky, who's the younger brother of Dane Hrasky, who was their starting shortstop last year. Trey's a left center field type. He pitches too, so like he can get some midweek innings for them. But it's a pretty dynamic athlete. His brother was a 6'3", 6'4" runner, and I think Trey's got a chance to be that type of impact runner too. Can flat go get it in the outfield. He's got some pop in the left-handed swing. Like I would think he'll start the year kind of more of like a 7, 8, 9 hole type, just being the young guy of the group and work his way up. But another talented name to throw into this mix. So like they're loaded. They really are loaded. It's a really good group. I would presumptively look at O'Fallon. At one point, they were the number 1 team in our rankings last year. When the preseason rankings for Scout Connect come out, they'll be number 1 or number 2. I think there's like a real conversation between them, Edwardsville, and Triad, who we'll touch on at a later date. But yeah, it's this O'Fallon team. I think is the best chance they have to go back to state for the first time since 2018.
It's the difference between having a few guys that you know can pitch to having a pitching staff. I mean, there's very few high school teams that, in my opinion, really have a pitching staff. And this is one of them. And I think whenever you have a pitching staff and you got guys that can just go out and get outs, get people out, you can figure out how to score runs. You can.
Sure.
High school baseball, small ball, this, that, scratch and runs, doing that, especially if you can dominate on the mound and keep games close, whatnot. We've watched Edwardsville do that. That's been, they've had the big time, over the few years that I've watched, they've had the big bats, they've had guys, but they've also had where, they got to scratch runs. And you get a Shiroto on the mound, you're always in a game. He's going to keep you in a game, and then you get a run or two, and you win.
I think the one thing that O'Fallon has done a good job of the last couple of years, when Coach Bauer was the head coach, and now with Coach Causey taking over, is they always play a tough schedule. Like they'll travel. A couple of years ago on their spring break, they went down to Alabama. They'll go to Kentucky and play McCracken County, who's like the premier team on the west side of Kentucky. They'll play DeSmet over here in Missouri. And I think when you have a pitching staff this deep, it allows you to play those games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And play in those competitive games against good teams and play a deep schedule. It's part of the reason why Francis Howell can do what they do, right? Because they have all those arms to roll out. And that prepares you. One, it allows you to do that while still saving your best bullets for conference play. And two, it allows you to play good teams that get you ready for the playoffs, so you're not undermatched when the postseason rolls around. And that includes playing, obviously, your Southwestern Conference teams, but also once you get past that, like you have to play the other teams in the regional and the sectional to make it to state. It's part of the reason why Triad had so much success last year. They're 3A in the area, and they would go out and willingly seek out and play Edwardsville, play McCracken County. They played Trinity Catholic in Kentucky, which is the best team in Kentucky. And they had the arms to do so that when they rolled around and played 3A in Illinois, it wasn't really close, to be honest. So, O'Fallon has that capability, and we'll see what happens. But obviously, you have to play the games. But they, on paper, look like the favorite to me right now. Now, that being said, Tim Funkhauser is the best coach in the state. Edwardsville is the team that knows how to win. They've done it forever, and it will always be the Edwardsville Tigers division to lose until somebody takes it from them.
Well, the one that stood out to me was the pitcher returning Hunter Baugh that's going to Linwood with a point 0.15 ERA. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and Hunter, he's a two-way, so he'll play shortstop for them and also probably be their number one guy on the mound. Unquestionably, his biggest standout trait has nothing to do on the baseball field. He is maybe the single most competitive person I've ever met, and I'm sure I've said that about other people before. But when you talk to Hunter Baugh, there's no doubt in his mind that when he's on the mound or at the plate, he's the best player in the entire ballpark. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. It doesn't matter what the situation is. That kid has an unbelievable amount of confidence in himself, and it allows him to get outs at that level, at that rate, to a 0.15 ERA over X amount of innings against whoever he's playing against. Now, his stuff is good. It's mid to upper 80s. It's a carry fastball. He spins a good breaking ball. He's got changeup feel. He fills up the strike zone. But, it's not elite stuff. He doesn't have Joe Chirotto stuff. He doesn't have Connor Blue stuff. He doesn't have Austin Musso stuff from last year. But he is able to produce at the level of those guys and honestly at a higher level because of the compete factor and the fact that undeniably he fully believes that he's the best player in the world when he's on the mound. He'll be their number one guy, I would presume. I would also think he'll hit first or second in their lineup. It's a good glove at shortstop. He will get an opportunity to do both at Lindenwood when he gets to campus. The guy is Tony Everlin, who in 2024 it would have been as a sophomore was part of a two-headed monster that basically carried Edwardsville to state when Joe Chirotto went down and was unable to pitch. He went through some bumps last year, had some good outings, had some not so great outings, but he's supremely talented, committed to TCU. It's a good fastball. It's a live fastball. It hops out the hand, spins a good breaking ball. If he's in the strike zone and is right, it's a power arm. It's one of the best arms in the area. So right off the bat, you get those two guys, Baugh and Eberlin, in conference play Tuesday, Thursday. It's probably an automatic advantage against every team, maybe not O'Fallon. And the true X factor.
The one that, then you have, I'm probably jumping ahead of you here a little bit, but it's curious to me. You got another Chirotto as a sophomore. In Nicholas. I don't know what he is or isn't, but if he's anything like his brother, he probably will be on that squad as well as a sophomore.
Yeah, he played last year as a freshman a lot, actually. Played a lot of second base for them last year, so he will definitely be on the team as this year, and he'll probably be one of their best players if I had to guess. Built a little differently than Joe. Joe's more of a stronger, compact, like shorter frame. Nick's tall, lean, lanky levers. Still hasn't grown into his body yet, but he's similar to his brother in the sense that he's a really good baseball player. He's heady. He's competitive. He's gotten a lot better, and I believe some of this has come just with functional strength and getting more mature and more physical from a like development standpoint. But this summer, he's swung it way better than he swung it during the high school season. Like it was a little bit of a light bat in his freshman year. This summer, I saw them several times. He was hitting for more power. It's like cleaner, more level through the zone now. He also is super interesting on the mound. Ultimately, I think he's going to be a position player. But from a high school standpoint, like it's low 80s on the mound with a good breaking ball, but it is so clean and easy the way it comes out. Like if he has a good winter in the weight room, which if he's like his brother, he will have a good winter in the weight room. He's going to come out and be like a force, honestly, for them. What I was going to say is like the true X factor for them is Chase Milburn, who missed all of last year with an injury. I don't know where he's at in his recovery process. Like if he's gonna throw this year, like if he does, when it's gonna be, I'm not totally sure. But his sophomore year, when they went to state and it was him and Eberlin basically carrying them on the mound, he threw like 60 innings with like a sub-1 ERA as a sophomore, and it is ultimate pitchability. Like he doesn't have high end velo. It was mid to upper 80s before the injury, but 4 pitches, all strikes, like a super hard, tight slider cutter type deal in the mid to upper 70s. Good changeup, big loopy breaking ball he could get over for strikes. Like if he comes back at some point this year, and even if it's in an abbreviated 1 to 2 inning role as they build him up from his injury, like that's 3 really, really good arms that are not only good, but have done it before and have won before and know how to pitch in big games and are not afraid of big games, which in the conference against O'Fallon and all the conference rivals, and especially in the playoffs, like there is something definitely to the thought of I've been here before and I've pitched in these big games, and when there's 1,000 people at the game, I don't feel any pressure whatsoever. Like I know I'm okay. And being someone that has not pitched in that type of environment, and all 3 of those guys have, and in one point or the other, like Tony Eberlin a couple years ago took a no-hitter into the 6th inning against a really good O'Fallon team in a sectional semifinal game and threw a complete game shutout to send them to a sectional championship. Like he's done it. Chase Milburn pitched at state. Hunter Ball has pitched in a ton of big games. So they're going to have the arms to do it. What they get positionally, in my opinion, is maybe the biggest question mark of all the teams in this conference. Like they lost a ton of guys from last year. Grayson Rathgeb went to Maryville. Joe Chirotto, Augie Johns is at UMSL. Max Waltenberger was a physical catcher for them. Tyler Powell was a physical right-handed hitting first baseman who's a pitcher at SIUE now. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but Lucas Krebs, was their shortstop. He's at Illinois. Like they lost a ton of offense, and how they're able to replicate that is going to come down to a guy like Zane Maxwell, who is a glove first middle infielder type. Ethan Thomas, who's a big physical left-handed hitting senior that didn't get a whole lot of run for them last year. Aiden Bennett, was a sophomore last year, who's an outfielder. Nolan Vojak, who's a catcher that I really like. Sutton Lease, who's a catcher that I really like. And then they have some young guys too. Like I think one of the guys that could really play a role for them if he has a good offseason in the weight room is Tyson Wampler. Have seen him a bunch actually in our tournaments this summer and fall. Like he's got a really good swing. He's on the barrel a ton. He just weighs 140 pounds. Like that's all it is. It's not impact like gap to gap extra base hits right now because he doesn't have the strength to do it. Like everything else is right. It's a clean swing, like fundamentally sound. He just doesn't have the actual functional strength to create impact. But if that comes, like that's a guy that I could see playing a key role for them. And he's also really good on the mound, like low 80s, but it's clean, it's athletic, it strikes, it's a good breaking ball. And then kind of in that, like we've talked about several freshmen in this show already. I think a guy that has a real chance to be a dynamic player is Andrew McCutcheon. It's really funny that his name is like Andrew McCutcheon, the big leaguer. But left, ultra athletic, like easy, fluid runner, clean left-handed swing, like a no doubt lockdown center fielder, like a guy that you could put there and cover. Like you could play two outfielders. That dude's going to cover ground. But he's a freshman, and there's still some growing up from a baseball standpoint to do with any freshman, right? Like you take any young guy and you throw him out into a competition playing against a bunch of 18-year-olds that have been on varsity for 3 years. Like there's a process to that. I think he's got a chance to be a guy that plays pretty regularly for them if he continues to make the strides he needs to make. So they're good on the mound. They're going to be good defensively. They're going to run the bases. They'll execute the fundamentals the right way. They have the best coach in the conference for my money. But there are some question marks here. And how they fill it, honestly, to me, is going to be pretty fascinating, given that this is not something that me personally, that I've seen from an Edwardsville team. And honestly, that anyone has probably since like 2017 or 2016.
Still sounds like it's going to be pretty tough to knock them out.
Yeah, and by the way, it always will, right? Like next year, when they graduate, when they like next year, a year from now, when we're having this conversation, and Hunter Ball's in college, Tony Eberlin's in college, Chase Milbird's in college, and they lose a ton of their innings, somebody will show up and be really good for them. It happens every year. Like there's no shortage of talent walking through the hallways at Edwardsville High School. But this will be the first year where I can sit down and be like, okay, there's some competition for who's the best team in the area. It's not a de facto number one Edwardsville.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see, and we're definitely going to work to get that Edwardsville O'Fallon game on, one of them, on the schedule this year, because I do. It's a dynamic rivalry. Saw it from that first time we did this, and that's what it's about, man. You got to go beat the best to be the best, right?
Got to.
I love it. Well, my fault, but thank you for making sure we covered it all, Diego.
We did. The whole conference, top to bottom.
That's right. And we're looking forward to Southwestern. We'll be back next week. We're going to start looking. I think we're going to roll over. I don't know yet, but, I want to look at a couple different things. There's the Mississippi Valley Conference that looks pretty strong. And then we'll look at some of the smaller schools. I think it's going to be interesting. Father McGivney's over there. When will the private schools, some of these schools, maybe they start dipping into some of these guys' talent? Could that happen? I think that's an interesting question, as everything moves along. That's something in my mind, because Father McGivney's very young. They haven't been around very long. They already are a juggernaut in Class 1. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that continues to play out. Are they 2A now?
They are.
So that will be interesting as well. So a lot of questions.
That definitely has some ramifications on 2A. Because the 2A in this part of the state was already really good, and now you throw another really good team in there. It makes it even honestly harder. So I believe Freeburg might be 2A too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
I think
you're just adding more teams into this puzzle essentially, and having them figure it out.
And Freeburg, the midgets, right?
The midgets, yeah.
And Sacred Heart Griffin is Class 2, aren't they?
They are state champs.
There you go.
It's up in Springfield.
Some dynamic stuff to look at. It'll be fun.
Yep.
It'll be fun. Diego, I appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate the knowledge.
You got it. Appreciate you guys having me. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the rest of the winter.
Absolutely. Folks, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe, hit the like button, share this out. We got some more stuff coming at you. We do appreciate it. Diego, tell the folks where they can follow you.
Yeah, on Twitter, Instagram, Scout Connect, BB.
There you
we
go.
Got.
Bingo. Folks, appreciate it. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, you got to give them some advice, Diego.
We got to throw strikes.
There you go. Hitters, go ahead and hit them where they ain't. We'll see you all next time.